Hello, welcome or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz. I will be guiding you on this journey. I just wanted to introduce the tarot deck that we're going to use today, and also the, I guess we can call it an oracle deck that we're going to use. I don't really have anything else to say other than, of course, thank you so much to those who are participating in the 333 readings. I am still offering those. The details of that is in the description. I think they're so cool. Like every single one that I have done, like the cards that have come out have just like so perfectly gone together. I don't know. It's awesome. But thank you so much to those of you who have participated in that. And I hope you're all, holding up okay. I know we have an eclipse this week on the 3rd, which is actually tomorrow, March 3rd. It's literally happening right on top of my 3rd house Virgo moon. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I hope these messages reach near and far, I mean, I always do, but maybe I have a little bit of an oomph from that. Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, the tarot deck that we are going to use. Ooh, and this is actually the first little tarot bag that I got from, you would think that I would actually have it like pulled up. Okay, rude. I don't know. I don't have it in front of me. I'll put it in the description though. The little tarot bags. They're so cute. I have like 3 of them so far. But anyway, we're going to be using Pastel Dreams for the tarot deck. And then I have Mudra's deck that we're going to be using for the Oracle. I don't know, I pulled one of these cards for me this last week, and it was like so perfect for, and I shuffled the same way that I always do until a card came out, and it was so perfect for what was like on my mind, and the hardest part is just remembering to do it, like a couple times. But there's, of course, the mudra on one side, and then on the other side is information about that. So I'll read that to you, and I'll also include a screenshot of it for a couple seconds in the video, just in case you want to also take a screenshot or dude, whatever. Okay, let's get into the readings. Great. So this is the reading for the 5-1 human design profile, the Heretic Investigator. If you don't know what your profile is, there is a link in the description for you to get your human design body graph, and your profile will be listed on there. Is there anything else? I can't think of anything else. Okay, so let's see what's going on. How are you guys doing? What do we have for our fellow 5-1s? Who tell them? Oop. Oop. I don't take the cards that flip in the deck because I just don't take them seriously unless they fall all the way out of the deck. And I've had that conversation with every single one of my, oh my God, I just counted the other day. I have like 70 decks. Oh, I need to chill. But I have had that conversation with every single one of them that the card does need to come all the way out. Because I want commitment over here, clarity. So, what do we have for 5-1s? I almost like get the feeling of like warming up, like the cards feel like kind of cool. So we'll see how long this takes to warm them up for 5-1s. Getting there. Cards are flipping. We have the Ace of Wands. Love it. What else? The Seven of Cups. Interesting. The Devil and the Hierophant. What an interesting combo. Huh. And then the King of Wands at the bottom of the deck. How interesting to go from the Ace of Wands to the King of Wands. And then the King of Pentacles. Nine of Cups. Okay. All right. All right. I don't know if I've ever had this combo, though. I might need to actually, like, think about that. Okay. We'll get through it. And let's get your Mudra card. I've been reading the Mudra card at the end of the readings because it's actually been really pretty cool, like how it like ties into the actual reading. We have the Mudra of Life. Love that. Let's see, like this. Stability. I shall keep going. I love that. And it's red. Interesting. How many times can I say interesting? You know, I was looking forward to your guys' reading. I always do because I'm a 5/1 too, so you know, I don't know if there's like a little bit of bias in there, but I need to go grab my coffee too. But also, I mean, anytime like before or as I sit down for a reading anyway, like I always set the intention for the message to come through me, not from me. And I mean, I really do get something out of every reading that I do. I feel like the 1-3 and the 1-4 readings kind of like read me a little bit. But it's just like I related to them as well. Not that I was, you know, like drawing from my experience, but I was like, oh, this actually sounds kind of familiar. But yeah, you guys, I think, you know, we're going to be going on a ride here. So let me grab my coffee really quick. Okay, so I do want to talk about the Hierophant and the Devil first. And I want to talk about them first because what I also find to be interesting, I should start a tally for how many times I say that. I can like turn it into a drinking game, like take a sip of water or coffee every time I say that, or wine. I mean, whatever you're drinking. Anyway, what I find interesting is that the Hierophant and the Devil are, it's kind of like what is standing between this energy over here and the King of Wands, and then the King of Pentacles, and then the Nine of Cups. And it's like giving this feeling that some sort of like rigid belief that you have, or like there's some sort of conditioning, whatever that is, right? And like a big part of human design is deconditioning, right? It's like it's recognizing where you have been, you know, like fed beliefs or indoctrinated, you know, to operate, to believe, to think, to do things in a way that is counterintuitive to your actual like natural flow, right? And I mean, it's hard to change that because it's like no matter how much deconditioning you do, no matter like how much therapy, healing, energy work it's like it's so fast to just kind of fall back into your old programming, because I mean that programming has been around, like your whole life. And it's also really not like, no matter how aware you are, it still just like slips by you, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm thinking in a way, that I used to, or, like I still have these beliefs about what is possible, or what I can do, or whatever, right? And like that's kind of how this Hierophant and the Devil are feeling over here. Like the Hierophant is belief systems. It's something that's like passed on. It's traditional institutions, and that can, I mean, literally be any type of practice, teaching, tradition that is passed down. I mean, religion is in there because that's kind of basically what religion is, right? Is there is this one set of belief that is just reinforced, taught, passed down, like, I mean, if your family is religious, then, I mean, you're baptized, or, like whatever, before you have an opportunity to make that decision, like for yourself. And then you start attending church, or, school, or whatever. And those practices are then taught to you, right? And it becomes, again, your beliefs. It becomes morals, values, kind of boundaries, guidelines. School is in there as well, because again, I mean, you are being taught something by someone who already has the experience, the knowledge, the wisdom. Marriage is an institution, a traditional institution. Astrology too. I mean, astrology is also an ancient practice. And, learning that. And, human design, although human design is not as old as astrology, but it does incorporate like 4 or 5 kind of quote unquote like ancient practices into one modality. And again, like if you grew up making decisions, however you're making decisions, right? Like, and if you were taught a belief system about what, traditional relationships are, what, traditional type of success is, again, like your belief systems in spirituality, or religion, or, higher powers, and all of that, that is all like Hierophant energy. And it's also, like the Hierophant is the Pope here. And there's this sense of community as well. It's like not necessarily like going with the herd, but it is a lot of people believing the same things. It's like how we were all taught that, especially, if you were millennial, and maybe older too, but I don't know about like younger generations, maybe Gen Z, like elder Gen Z, is that a thing? Like elder millennials, but like if you went to college, you would land a lucrative position, like it would get you further into your career. But a lot of us have discovered that that's actually not true. And really what you're left with is a bunch of debt. Or that literally, if you worked hard, that you would be rewarded for that. And not everybody has that experience, right? So it's like, it's coming to this realization that like, wait a second. This was the dream I was fed. This was the motivation that I had. Where is the outcome? Like where is that promise, you know? And with the Devil card, also look at the similarities here between the Hierophant and the Devil. There's these two children down here. There's these two adults over here. It really like feels like being a slave to like the program, like you know, the devil is the things that control us, that keep us chained, that keep us stuck. You know, it can be obsessions, it can be addictions, it could be numbing and distracting, avoidance, manipulation. What's also interesting is that the Hierophant is Taurus, the Devil is Capricorn. So there's these two earth energies here. One of them has to do with like stability, materials, possessions. The other one has to do with hard work, dedication. I actually just looked this up the other day about Devil and Capricorn. Representing the sign's earthly driven nature, but also its potential for obsession, materialism, and self-imposed restrictions. Overachieving, stubbornness, which is also Taurus, and becoming chained to status or unhealthy habits. Ambition versus obsession. While Capricorns are hardworking and determined, the Devil indicates when this drive becomes unhealthy, leading to obsession with success or material gain. The Hierophant and Taurus represent themes of tradition, conformity, spiritual guidance, and established structures. Seeking stability, honoring rituals, and adhering to firm, long-standing beliefs. Reliance on proven methods, structure, norms, and institutional wisdom. And what I want to say about this pair is that that is the thing that is somehow slowing you down. Because we have the Ace of Wands here, which is like you have the motivation. You have the drive, you have the passion. Even like visibility just went through my head as well, which is actually like my word of the year. So I don't know if that's why that just like zoomed through my mental movie or mind movie, whatever. Or it definitely could be associated to the Ace of Wands as well. You know, wands are action, the motivation behind the actions that we take, creativity, passion. It's like literally that spark that gets something going. You know, it's something that excites you, that you have a passion for, that you have a desire to, you know, create or work with even. And it can be in multiple areas. Like, you know, there could be multiple areas where you feel a creative drive for. There could be, you know, multiple irons in a fire that you have like going on right now. It could be that you are also even like trying to hone in on what it is you want to kind of put that energy towards, because the Seven of Cups is about options. It can be a little like overstimulating or like overwhelming, but it's more about like kind of having things in front of you and deciding which thing to put your energy into first. Do you have the energy to spread across, like 7 different cups? It's almost like the Marie Kondo effect too. It's going through and deciding like what are the things that make you feel good, whether they're logic or not. Like this is all about feeling, gut feeling, like what sparks that joy and fun and curiosity and adventure in you, even if and especially if it doesn't make logical sense. Because over here we have this like, this is life pulling on you. This is, responsibilities and having a hard time like flipping your brain from, the way that you have approached things. Maybe not even your brain, but just like your body, both, right? I mean, like there's conditioning of both things. It's almost too like the thing that is like anchoring you down or the thing that is pulling you down is, like tradition. Like I'm trying to figure out, I'm like kind of waiting for a different way to like explain that. It really feels like having to take risks that you wouldn't have done before. And it doesn't have to be, this huge expression, like this huge, like impulsive action or anything like that. But it's like, if you've always, this is the example, I guess, that's like showing up in my mind. Like if you've always, kind of showed up to things in like professional dress or whatever, like even if it didn't necessarily require that, but that's just how you've always approached those situations, like, dress for the job you want, or, like whatever, like that saying, don't, it's like allow yourself to show up a little bit more casual, but also, I mean, just more yourself, the way that you approach relationships, or connecting with people. Even, the opportunities that you take. I mean, I think I mentioned in the last set of readings, maybe, I don't know, but using a personal example, I have a friend that owns an experience boutique, and she started putting on like workshops, different types of workshops, like candle making, watercolor, stained glass, sourdough, just local small businesses, they come in and they give these workshops. And she started that, I think in like November maybe of last year. And she had asked me a few times if I wanted to do like a tarot workshop. And I was like, absolutely not. There's no way. No, like I could not fathom, it just made me sick to even think, because I never really thought of doing something like that. And also I am like the most insecure person you would ever meet in your life. Even though like I don't necessarily like come across that way, but once you get to know me, you're like, Jesus Christ. It's true. And for no good reason anyway. So, months go by. I mean, she met another person who does tarot as well, and they put on a tarot workshop, and I think that was like back in, like I said, I think it was like back in November. And so she's asked me, here and there, like, hey, like if you ever want to, let me know. And she mentioned it again because she was putting together her workshop calendar for like March through May. And all of a sudden I was like, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. I can do this. All of a sudden, like, and that is actually tonight. Like, so wish me luck. I'm actually really like pretty fine with it, but it was just like all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, I know how I would do it. Like I want to make a workbook. I want to provide everybody with a tarot deck as well. And I went and got some selenite sticks to give to everybody. Like it just started to flow more naturally, but it was literally like just that, stepping outside of my own comfort zone. And then all of a sudden, all these ideas like started flowing. And, of course I like got more excited about it. And, I'm using that as an example of, again, just doing something that you didn't really think that you would do. Because again, like the little obstacle here is this Hierophant and the Devil card. It's like there's just some sort of something, like a structured belief or social norm, proven methods, like just the things that I like mentioned about the Hierophant, that it's almost like it's turned into a limiting belief. It's turned into, like a fear or an insecurity or whatever that is. But there's like these options available over here that want to be manifested, like in your existence. We have the King of Wands, like I said, and how amazing is this that we go from the Ace of Wands to the King of Wands, the King of Pentacles, the Nine of Cups, and then the Seven of Swords. We're just really not going to like get away from the like conditioning. So it's just something to be aware of. It literally is that, like, feel the fear, do it anyway, or feel the doubt, do it anyway, or feel it's not even necessarily about like success or failure. We have success out here, so I don't believe that there's going to be failure, but it's not about gauging it on success or failure, It's like just a matter of getting you out of your own, like I said, like rigidity. The King of Wands is now holding the Ace of Wands. Right? And they're also like, it's like looking, the right side of the card is the future. The left side of the card is the past. I kind of love how like most of these cards are like facing towards the future. There could be some sort of like uncertainty about the future, or just, and that could be the thing that is also kind of wrapping you up, or like putting you in knots, is the uncertainty of the future. Maybe also even almost like trusting that it's trusting that, by going your own path, by forging your own path, that it could actually fucking work, because that's the thing about uncertainty. And I like my human design chart is full of uncertainty and melancholy. Like I have almost all of the gates of melancholy, and my incarnation cross is the left angle cross of uncertainty, which also talks about melancholy. Like I am never going to be sure about anything in my life, and I'm rarely going to be excited. um So anyway, the thing about uncertainty though, right, is that we don't have data to draw from. We have data from tradition, or just from, again, like how we have structured our lives and the way that we have approached literally everything, right? Like we have data for how that has gone, the ways that it's been successful, the way that it hasn't been. And the first line loves data, right? It's the investigator. So when we're dealing with uncharted territory, or again, uncertainty, we have nothing, we have no framework to draw from, kind of, right? Because we're never starting from scratch. We're always starting from experience, but we just have no way of being like, okay, I know what this milestone looks like because I've been here before, right? Like because you haven't, So it's like having to, again, like allow yourself to be in it, unsure, and constantly also like checking in with yourself and your motives and your intentions, and are your actions aligned with this purpose here, or the passion, or the thing that is driving you. And like the wands also have to do with information by way of experience, because that's what we get by trying things. We figure out what works, we figure out what doesn't work, what do we like, what don't we like, right? And it's like constantly making these like little tweaks and changes as we need to, as often as we need to, right? I mean, like we're constantly making decisions about our lives, ourselves, what we're doing. And kings are the highest expression of the suit as well. So there's an authority aspect there. There's, putting that vision, like kind of melding your vision or the action with the experience that you have. It's also, again, like this is very follow the things that light you up thing. Very outside of the box as well. Like you are not going to put the King of Wands in a box. The King of Wands is also the entrepreneur of the tarot. And last thing I'll say about this pair, there's a lot of red in here. There's like some orange and, yellow as well, but red is root, orange is solar plexus, yellow is, orange is sacral, or yellow is solar plexus. Okay, let me like get it together over here. We don't make decisions from pressure centers. So, like if you feel pressure to move, like either physically or just, towards something, whatever, be sure that you're checking in with your strategy and authority, right? Like if it's like something where you're like, okay, I'm feeling pressure, that means I need to chill. That means I need to check in, with my strategy and authority. Where is this pressure coming from? Why am I feeling pressure to do something? Right? Because this is not impulsive. This is like calculated. It's again, like we don't start from from scratch. We start from experience. This is using the data that you do already have to create something new to guide you through inexperience or uncertainty. That's interesting. I was going to say uncertainty, but inexperience came out. And also, we're only inexperienced for like a short period of time. Literally, nobody is born with any type of experience at all. Like, we're not even born knowing how to be human, so that all eventually we figure it out, and also even like trusting yourself to navigate that, trusting yourself to be leadership, trusting yourself to be visible even, sharing your expertise, like sharing your wisdom, you know? And then we have like another card of leadership and authority. And this, you know, on top of the Seven of Cups, like it feels like there is this mastery here of multiple things. It could be, you know, like having the resources, the materials, the money to focus on multiple things. It could be multiple streams of income as well. It could just be like, you know, like when one thing starts going, then it's like the other things just start lining up, just start unfolding for you because they're all like interconnected, right? It could be just multiple opportunities. But the King of Pentacles is like having your cake and eating it too. The mastery here on the King of Wands is creativity, action towards something. Again, like it's more calculated. It's more based on experience and the wisdom that you have. It's also even like creative problem solving. The King of Pentacles is more grounded. I also love that the other Earth card that we have out here is the King of Pentacles, because it's almost like it's grounding the Hierophant and the Devil card to me. But literally, like I said, you know, it is having your cake and eating it too. It's, you know, if this is the goal back here, it's accomplishing that goal. And both of these cards are like affecting positive change in the collective. Whatever the collective is, you know, for you, your peers, your coworkers, your clients, your family, your relationships, you know, like just whatever that is, there's something that shifts within you and it shifts outside of you as well, or it shifts like how people view you. It could even be a shift of how you view yourself. I love that the Nine of Cups is on top. It almost kind of feels like watering those two things down, but it's like also really honing in on what it is that is your desired outcome. You know, like the Nine of Cups is about wish fulfillment, having your desires met, feeling purposeful, feeling fulfilled. Nines are individual completion as well. So this is your idea, your feeling of what would be a life. Like, how could I cultivate a life that I feel good about? That is filling all of my cups. Because now we go from the Seven of Cups to the Nine of Cups. This could even, again, I mean, like this could be like just multiple different areas of your life that you want to see affected change to, that you want to feel good about. And the Nine of Cups, I mean, I feel like that would be the expression of that. And what would get you out of, you know, the Hierophant and the Devil card would be focusing on, instead of, you know, the tradition, the conditioning that you have, the data that you already have, right? It's focusing on, okay, that's all stuff that like I know, right? That's all, I know how that goes because that's how I've been living my life, right? But this is what I am trying to cultivate. This is what I'm trying to manifest. How do I get there? Like, how do these things feel good? Do they not? And it's prioritizing the things that do feel good. And like I said, with the Seven of Swords now at the bottom of the deck, there is no getting around the like limiting beliefs. This could even be something too that for now you would want to keep kind of close to the vest. Is that what it is that the saying? Like, not necessarily something that you share out loud, because also like I've been feeling this way lately. I just don't want other people's opinions. Not in an arrogant way, although I think my son, is it my personality son? I think is like gate 8, line 5. Oh, it's right in front of my face. Let's see. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it's that one, or my personality Earth is 14, gate 14, line 5. One of those is arrogance. That might actually be 14. Let me see. Hang on. Hello. Where's 14? That's out of the sacral. Where's 8? Dang it. That's out of the throat. Yeah, I can't remember. One of those, though, is arrogance. And I know that I can be arrogant. Absolutely. And maybe not in the way that like human design is talking about. I would have to like look it up again. But and maybe I am being arrogant, but I'm like, this is something that I want to figure out. I don't really want other people's opinions or like the way that other people have done things right now. Like, because, you know, I mean, people are it's their experience with their design and their understanding of like their lives and you know, life in general and what they would do if they were me. But it's like they're giving that advice as if they were them, right? Like if you just acted like me type of thing. But like, I'm not you, right? So I am me, and I'm also like, I'm trying to figure out what me is, like what is my path. So, you know, you could just be working on this like just more internally, and of course, you know, the actions that you're taking. You know, even this is about the King of Pentacles is about being practical, which is, I've looked this up a couple times too. You would think it would be committed to memory. Practical means of or concerned with the actual doing or use of something rather than with theory and ideas. Both of these cards are doing. We actually don't, the only card that we have that's theory and ideas is the Seven of Swords. Because swords have to do with our mind, theories, ideas. And the Seven of Swords for me is the card of us fooling ourselves. It's, you know, self-sabotage. It's, you know, like the way that we, you know, kind of manipulate ourselves into and out of things. It's shame too. And I know, you know, again, personally for me, like I'm trying to approach things from a place of like self-trust versus being motivated by shame or like self-hatred. And it's like I literally don't know how to do that. Like I know how to be motivated by shame. I know how to be motivated. It doesn't last very long. But I know how it works, right? So now trying to navigate things not from a place of fear, not from, you know, being impulsive, not, you know, like literally from trusting myself and literally my life, right? Like I really am trusting that I'm heading in the right direction. And you too, right? I mean, like I'm just giving personal examples, and hopefully they resonate with you too, and like where you're at in your process. But like I said, like there's just no getting around this, but also like there's so much information to be found in the Seven of Pentacles or Seven of Swords, because you get to have an awareness of your limiting beliefs, the ways that you self-sabotage. Where are those things coming from? You know, Brene Brown calls them gremlins. What is the story coming up for you? And is it true? 9 times out of 10, it is not. And also, even if it was fucking true, why would you allow that to change your actions at this point? It's 2026. We're literally, like in this like third world war. I mean, like there's terrible stuff that, is coming out, right? I mean, even having to do with structures and power and all that shit, right? Like just don't allow yourself to let yourself believe that you deserve less, or continue that belief, right? Who told you that? Was that a story that you came up with when you were like 7 or 10 and you had really limited information in life? But people, like humans, are meaning making machines, right? Like shit happens, we have to attach a meaning to it. And when we're children, we have literally limited information to go off of, but we still like create these stories, and then we just carry those on through the rest of our lives, right? Until we get to a point where we're like, what the fuck? Why do I have this belief? Like, why do I believe that I'm not capable, or that I can't do this, or that, I'm not worth it, or, whatever. Like, where did that come from? And is that something I actually believe? And I'm telling you, no, you don't. Let's read this card. We have stability. I shall keep going. Hell yeah. Also, again, with the oranges, the reds, the yellows. We have, yellow, blue is throat, green is heart. Over here, the 7 of swords, we have like crown and third eye. So we have all of the chakras out here, actually. Are we missing anybody? No. So let's see. The Mudra of life, if you want to take a screenshot of that. The Pran Mudra strengthens the eyes and brings inner peace, stamina, and confidence. With its help, you can take setbacks in your stride and keep going through thick and thin. We are much stronger and resilient than we think we are. A constructive and positive inner attitude helps us to activate and use the latent staying power within us. Imagine that there is a fire burning in your innards, which gets more and more powerful with every breath which you take. The fire is there to strengthen and rejuvenate your body, to warm your heart, and to clarify and enlighten your mind. My inner fire possesses me, strengthens me, and reveals to me my abilities and my possibilities. I love that. That's very like Wands energy over here. Stability. I shall keep going. I love that. Okay, I'm leaving it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.